Over the last 80 years, the world polarised between East and West. The Western Alliance spawned NATO, and fledgling India cozied up to Russia to feed off its willing teat. And all amongst the big global players jostling for world domination, the Punjab, battered and bloody after the brutality of partition, fought to breathe as the tidal ebb and flow of Pakistan and India's power plays washed over it. But here in the 21st century, this tiny jewel in the northwest of India is beginning to form a potential centrepiece in the great game of global geopolitics. As the West faces up to the questionable threat of Russia, but the more credible threat of an emergent China, the subcontinent has become a strategic board game where the mature powers of the West and the ambitious sages of China are currently manoeuvring their pieces to try to gain control of the South Asian region. India, meanwhile, the belligerent teenager, now with hairs on his chest, is demanding his place with the grown-ups. But without realising it, India's youthful inexperience in the great game is leading to a potential breakup of the nation as global powers fight a secret war below the country's unwitting surface. China is quietly encroaching across its northern borders, military skirmishes just the visible effect, whilst cultural occupation quietly creeps deeper into Indian territories. Across the Indian Ocean, China's apparently benign commercial forces are encircling India, establishing shipping ports that can quickly be converted to military and naval bases. But more pertinently, evidence of the West's, and particularly the US's, ambitions to establish strategic footholds in the region are becoming increasingly visible. As Manipur bristles with sectarian violence, evidence is emerging that the Christian Kuki tribes, with links to Israel, are being nurtured by the US to push for a separate Christian state. One, of course, that would provide a US foothold across East India and into Myanmar, and in turn across in the west of India. As the growth of support for Khalistan explodes across the Sikh diaspora, the US has its eye on a potentially bigger prize. As Narendra Modi's BJP, driven by RSS nationalist ideology, presses for its Hindu Rashtra, marginalising its minorities and trying to drive out Sikh culture in the Punjab, without realising it, is playing beautifully into the hands of the US. India is soon going to find itself at the receiving end of a decisive move in this game against the global grown-ups. Leveraging the simple weapon of democracy, it will find itself forced into a corner with no choice but to offer a Khalistan referendum, or otherwise be labelled as an authoritarian pariah and suffer the commercial and legal consequences. And a referendum will undoubtedly produce the fledgling state of Khalistan, young, ambitious, and most importantly, backed by the finance and military powers of the West. A regional platform gifting the West a hugely strategic regional beachhead against China. And for the people of the Punjab, a long-awaited and long-deserved homeland once again. And for India, meanwhile, bookended between Khalistan and Manipur, checkmate. You've been watching Satellite TV News. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button to make sure you get to see stories as they're broadcast. And of course, if you have any comments or opinions on any of our news stories, you can comment below. Or why not drop us a direct message at message@satellitetv.com. We do like to hear from you. In the meantime, thanks for watching. For Satellite TV News, I'm Angus Scott in London.